Alright guys, so let's go ahead and do the complete series review of the new Star Trek movies. Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into Darkness from 2013, and Star Trek Beyond 2016. Let's go ahead and kick it off. This is going to be spoilers, so you haven't seen my reviews of those three movies or you don't see those movies at all, go watch it and come back, and then you can jump in the conversation with me. Other than that, let's go ahead and get this review started on this episode of Movie Breakdown. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. Welcome to Movie Breakdowns, movie review series. We'll get new and old movies, give them a grade A through L, plus or minus to do count. If there's a review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also, I have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka, and for $2 a month, you can jump in front of everybody, and wherever you add a review, I do it immediately because you're paying for my services. Also, you can trade your action, trade reviews, and much more stuff on that. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's review of Star Trek complete series review for the trilogy. Now, at the time of this recording, I did find out that there is a fourth Star Trek movie coming now in 2023. It's supposed to be a sequel to Star Trek Beyond, so yeah, we'll look forward to that when that happens. But as of the time of this recording, there's only 3 movies, and I'm about to review. I reviewed all 3 individually, but just gonna talk about it as a whole. And from the most part of like the origin tale movie that Star Trek 2009 is, to the sequel of Into Darkness, which I think is the best one of the series so far, and then Star Trek Beyond, which is a nice idea, but it just didn't hit home for me. Now, I would say all 3 of these movies are kind of like their own individual stories. You can literally take each movie, I feel like, and put them and watch them at any time. Someone who's never seen it, you can literally say, this is Picard, this is, I keep calling Picard, I want to be Picard so bad. No, you'd be like, this is Captain Kirk, this is Spock, you know, this is Sulu, this is Ura. Like, you can literally just sit there and just tell a person like who they are, because really for the most part, nothing really changes for the 3 characters in the movie. Like, and not even the 3 characters, but like for those characters in the 3 movies, like nothing about them really is earth-shattering or really is, you know, shocking to say. The only thing I think, if you watch this movie, you watch the 3rd one first and didn't know anything else, you'd be like, well, who's the person that died? Which was Spock Prime, because Leonard Nimoy passed away in real life. Spock Prime also passed away in the movie. So they gave a tribute to him before the movie was, you know, after the movie was completed. And that's the only one where the first somebody looked at like, who is that? Like, what they have to do with the story? Because Spock Prime shows up in Into Darkness, and then he's definitely there in Star Trek 2009. He shows up and there's a bigger part. So that's the only one where I feel like, as a person watching the movie for the first time, you'd be like, I need backstory on that one. But everybody else, it really just a series I felt like could literally been, like each individual movie could have been on its own and you'd be perfectly fine with that. And I think, I'm not sure it was intended to be a trilogy, like each story would be like connected, or it was just purely, this is another adventure in the Star Trek series, enjoy. So like Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 4, and 5 are kind of like their own individual stories, versus 2 and 3 are like an actual story connected in the series. I feel like this is the same way with Star Trek movies. Instead of 1, 2, and 3 being a complete solid story, they're just individual movies that you can watch and enjoy. And like, okay, what's going on with the game today? The first one is the origin tale movie, so they definitely give the background story of each character. And I do like how they did try to play on Captain Kirk's father's passing in the 3rd movie, but really at the end of the day, it didn't really like, I feel like his father passing didn't really hit him hard to be a complete impact to the story. Like his father's death didn't really make him think like maybe what I'm doing in my life. Like he already had that thought process like what am I doing out here? It's been 5 years in space and here I am. So like yeah, and then the relationship between Uhura and Spock. One, it comes out left field in the first movie because Captain Kirk was hitting on Uhura the whole time, and she never really hit on him back because she has a relationship, she has a boyfriend, and they kind of like joke about it, but they don't really talk about it. And then the relationship is never really at the forefront of the series, so therefore like you don't really care or get invested in a relationship. You just like, oh, they're a couple, neat. The villains in the series, they're fine. The first and second one, Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan is definitely a solid villain. But really, the villains are fine. I like each one had their own story. The third one, the story came in too late for me to really give a rat's butt about. But the other two, like they was laid out and you got like, okay, I see what's going on. Now the first villain, he definitely could have prevented his family from dying, but whatever, he's gonna take his rage out. He's been sitting there for 25 years, but don't take his rage out, on older Kirk and Spock. Or I guess younger Kirk and Spock, they got older at this time, but in reality just like, dude, what are you doing? You could have simply saved your planet and call it a day, but whatever. But other than that, like, it was fine. The first villain was fine. The second villain's fantastic. And the third one is okay. The villains are fine. As far as directing, J.J. Abrams directing the first two. He should have directed the third one instead of giving over to Justin Lin. Even though I feel like Justin Lin didn't do anything wrong, it just felt like a different tone, a different version of the first two movies you watched. I watched all three pretty much back to back to back. And I really felt the shift in style from those two movies. Or the first two movies and the third movie. Other than that, the casting, I felt like the casting was solid. I did find out that Anton Yelchin, who played Chekhov, I did find out that he passed away in 2016 before the movie came out. So rest in peace to him. And I did hear that they wasn't planning on putting him back or putting his character Chekhov into the fourth movie. So they actually let him rest in peace as a character on the movies too. I'm curious how they're gonna write his character off, but rest in peace to the actor. Yeah, I didn't know that until watching it. But as far as the cast, I think Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Carl Urban, not Keith Urban, that's the musician, Carl Urban, and John Cho and Simon Pegg. I feel like they all did solid. I feel like they all did great. Bruce Greenwood in the first two movies, I feel like he did fine. And that's pretty much it. Benedict Cumberbatch as the main bad guy as Khan. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was phenomenal as Khan. I feel like Idris Elba kind of got wasted as Krall, to be honest. And then Eric Bana as Nero, he just didn't do much for me. But as far as like casting and the acting of it all, I think the acting was good. The first movie I couldn't figure out the first movie wanted to be a comedy / action movie. I think the second one nailed it right, and then the third one was just kind of like, we're just making a third one and just see what happens here. I do applaud the third one with them not overly sexualizing women in the third one. Like, I don't think there's a scene where a woman's down to her bras and panties at all in the third one. But in the first two movies, you're getting bras and panties, and you're getting women dressed down for no apparent reason. It's cool to see Captain Kirk be like, he's a womanizer, a playboy. He's not your normal protagonist. Okay, I get that. That's kind of cool. Like, we got a different kind of guy on screen. And it's cool he waking up in bed with different women. That's fine too. It's a different perspective on life. That's how life is. You have different people who do different stuff. Not all characters are clean cut by the book. Oh gosh, a girl, I don't know how to talk to her. Like, you're gonna have your suave, your players, fine. But then there's a scene where in the second movie where you have Carol Marcus, who's played by Alice Eve. You have Carol Marcus stripped her bras and panties, and Pine looks over his shoulder and sees her, and she's like, what? but like that scene for her to get dressed down didn't really add to anything. If they wanted to make that a scene where he looked over his shoulder peeking, like maybe he should also dress down too, like have them both dress down at the same time, where she checks him out and he checks her out, and then she was like, if she catches him checking her out, and she's like, what? And, you know, she was doing the same thing. That right there, like that adds a little comedy to it, adds a little like lightheartedness, versus him just like looking straight, not changing his clothes, but just looked over like, oh, and she just like just in it, like a great figure too. She works out, but at the same time, just like it's not really necessary. It doesn't really add anything to the movie. Like you just wanted to see a girl in a bra and panties. But other than that, like I thought of the movie. I thought all those movies together was fine. Like I gave the first movie a C, which is 75%. The second movie a B, which is 85%, and I gave the third movie a C minus, which is 70%. Each one of those, add them all up, they come out to be like 200 something divided by 3. If I really want to be nerdy here, let me go ahead and get my calculator out and be super nerdy here. So we got 70%, we got 75%, 85%, so 230% divided by 3, 76%, and 76.6, if I want to round up, 77%. So the series is definitely a 77%, which will round up, make it a C+. And I think that's fine. And I actually might change that grade a little bit because it's my review series and I feel like it's what it is. And as far as music, the music of the movie is fine. Some of the edits and cut scenes and editing in the movie is not that great. Like the fight scenes are kind of shaky cam or different splice, different cuts. So it's not like a fluent fight scenes with certain scenes in the 3 movies, but it's fine. It makes do. Alright, is this a series you should watch? Yeah, you can watch the Star Trek series. I think you'll be fine watching it as a series. I think, you know, this movie's fun. Like I think everybody can watch and enjoy it, and just one of those action flicks you can put on and enjoy. As far as like continuation, or like continuity between the 3 movies, they're not really like, they have bits and pieces, but then they also do the same same bits for the other movies. Like for example, Spock talking about his family's death over and over again. He has it in the first movie, he loses his whole family. And then he has a scene in the second movie, he's about to die, and then he kind of talks about his death and how he thinks of death. And then the third movie, when Spock Prime dies, he thinks of death again. I'm not sure Spock in the TV show thought about death a lot, but in the movies, he's bringing this topic up in all 3 movies, and it's just like he doesn't have a resolution with it. It's just death over and over again. So some of the character beats get replaced over and over, they'll get repeated over and over again, but as the individual movie as itself, I think they're fine. Alright, final grade, I'm going to give, you know what, because there's certain pieces that get repeated over and over again, but the movies are fine enough where like nobody really talks about these movies. Like they're just like Star Trek, you're like, oh, they're cool movies, they're fine. Is it an average series? I want to say it's an average series. Like it is an average series. I'm gonna give Star Trek, the 2009 series, movie series, I'm gonna give it a C+, a 79%. It gets a C+ for me. The reason why is because there are bits and pieces that get repeated in different movies. The third movie is not as strong as the first 2 movies. The second movie is super good. The first movie is okay. It's a good origin tale movie, average. But then, like, as far as a continuity as a whole, there are certain things that, like, the movies themselves don't really, they touch on, but don't really bring it up again. Or certain things happen, like in the second movie, that they can literally beam to different planets, and Carol Marcus is at the end of the second movie, but completely not mentioned at all in the third movie, or just not there. Like, you build these characters, you add these characters in, and then just get rid of them, and you're just like, So, or for example, the love relationship between Spock and Uhura, it's just there, nothing really about that. And also Spock's dealing with death in every 3 movies. It's like, we just did this in the first movie and doing it again. So it's a C+. Like, it's fine. you're gonna enjoy yourself, but at the same time, like, besides the second one and Benedict Cumberbatch acting, the rest of it all, you're not gonna remember much of it. Like, if somebody came and talked to me, hey, you seen Star Trek 5 years from now, I'll probably be like, I know I reviewed it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Star Trek as a complete series review. If you've seen Star Trek, at all 3 movies, by the way, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. If they do 4, 5, and 6, I'll do a 4, 5, and 6 review, and it might do a complete comprehensive review once that's done. But as of right now, if they do make a 4th one in 2023, because I'm now a fan of the series, I am going to go watch Star Trek 2023, and hopefully they actually add a storyline to, like, Uhura and Spock's love relationship, or have Spock finally deal with his concept of death. We'll find out. We'll find out. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. See you next time, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.